Hello. Well, it's finally arrived here in the UK after being available in the USA for seemingly ages. My Monimoto MM7 tracker. So it was posted in nice small packaging, no plastic waste here particularly. And inside, just the Monimoto box itself and a few packing peanuts. Peanuts. Save those for later. Now, I better do some full disclosure. In order for me to make this review, money has changed hands. To clarify further, I ordered and paid for this myself. These cost around £170 here in the UK at the time of making this video, December 2021. And I've had to watch jealously as real YouTube channels get sent them for free to test ages ago. One day. This was meant to have arrived about a month ago, I think, but thanks to Brexit, the gift that keeps on giving, I think there were some customs hold-ups. I have been told I'll get an extra 2 months free on the eSIM as compensation, so we'll see if that actually happens or not. So first things first, cut the security seal. Now before I go any further, I think every single review I've seen of this, they've ripped the box apart trying to open it. Look, it's really simple. You just run your finger gently around the edge a few times just to get the feel for it. Then gently start slipping inside. Just the tip and only for a minute. Gently at first until you feel the resistance easing, and then just push inside and get out of the sodding box. As I said, really easy to get into the box without breaking it. I don't know what the problem everyone's been having is. And there's the unit itself, with your key fob and zip tie thingies. So why did I choose this particular tracker? Well, mainly simplicity and cost. The device itself isn't too badly priced, as I said, about £170 in the UK at the moment. The subscription is just over 30 quid a year, which is a lot cheaper than some other systems. This newer model uses slightly more future-proof networks, so hopefully there'll be quite a few years when it will work. Has an eSIM, so there's no faffing around with actual SIM cards. And the new design looks a little bit easier to hide on the bike as well. On my V85TT I've got somewhere where I think this will fit, and fairly unobtrusively, so we'll have a look at that later. The downside, of course, is that there's no monitoring service or reporting service. If this alerts you to a theft, it's down to you to deal with it. Legal disclaimer: by deal with it, I of course mean phone the non-emergency number in the UK, wait on hold for 40 minutes, and then be given your crime reference number and a "so, you're a victim of crime" leaflet. I definitely don't mean jump in the pickup, round up the boys and a load of Clue-by-4s and set off in hot pursuit. Definitely not that. Not that at all. Okay, so for the first test we're back in the Fat Cave. And I'm just going to check. I've got Bluetooth on my phone. I'm going to connect to the Monimoto. Just make sure the key fob is not in range, so it's searching for the key fob. I have found it's a bit fussy connecting sometimes. There are so many variables with phones and Bluetooth versions and things. On this particular phone I need to switch Bluetooth on before starting the Monimoto app. As long as I do that, it seems to connect okay. If I switch it on after starting the app, it just times out. So something to be aware of if you're having trouble connecting with your particular device, just try different permutations and combinations. By now it would have found the key fob if it was in range, so I think we're fairly safe to try this test. This is a sort of block built building, breeze blocks we'd call them here in the UK, cinder blocks possibly in the US, not sure. There's a good chance it's going to block a lot of the GPS type signals, so we'll see if the Monimoto detects movement and how long it takes to contact me. And all I'm going to do is give the bike a few good shoves. Maybe simulate someone wheeling it to the van to steal it. And we'll see what happens. Is that enough to trigger it? I should say I found a really good spot to put the Monimoto on this bike. You could just put it under the seat. I think that's what a lot of people do. It's really easy to get to. Obviously it's easy for a criminal to find as well. I mean, let's be honest, there isn't a huge number of places you could hide them on bikes like this. Maybe if you've got like a Goldwing, you know, full fairing, you've got plenty of little nooks and crannies and spaces you could hide it. So just waiting now to see if Monimoto is going to be upset and ring me. Oh, here we go.
Okay, to stop this video getting too long, I've jumped into voiceover mode here. Bottom line, I only got the notification with an approximate GSM location, not a GPS location. I did not get a phone call. I tried the same test with the bike outside and the same result. Got a notification, GSM location, and no phone call. I then took the bike for a quick ride down the road, and that did trigger a call, but still no GPS location. So after quite a lot of fiddling about and head scratching, which I've cut out of this video, my conclusion was that in the first instance, when it was inside, then clearly the building it was in was blocking most of the signals, GPS, and to a certain extent GSM. Data was getting through, so I was getting notifications, but I wasn't getting the calls. And the second thing is my perfect location for the device clearly is not very perfect at all. I thought it would be okay, but I think it must just be a little too recessed into the bike, too close to frame, things like that. So signals are blocked and the device can't really work properly. Therefore, I admitted defeat and moved the unit just to underneath the seat and tried again to see what would happen.
So it's not in its previous super clever, cool location. So we'll give it the old wobble test and see what happens this time round. So had a bit of a wobble, not a huge amount. Let's see what happens now. Will I get a notification? Was that enough of a wobble? I realise this is not the same as if it's been chucked in the back of a van and is moving down a road or is on a trailer or whatever. But in previous experiments, wobbling the bike was enough to trigger the unit, so we'll have to see. Okay, I just heard a notification come in, and there we are. That's the call coming through pretty quickly. Answer the call, it doesn't tell you anything, it's literally just a call. So the notification says it's moving, location in a few minutes. So 10:42 was the alarm. Okay, just had another notification. Now we've got approximate GPS location. Okay, let's see what that shows. So before we only had approximate location, we didn't have GPS at all. So now going in, okay, much better. We'll obviously not show you where we are because we're at my house, but it's pretty much where we are. Pretty much bang on. Okay.
Okay, so what are a few conclusions then? Well, I've had a few teething troubles with the unit trying to get it working properly, but that's entirely down to where I've tried to fit it in the first instance. Once I moved it somewhere else, it all started working properly as far as I can see. So if you're having issues, remember the location is very important, and they do clearly state that in the instructions and in their online support section. Obviously, make sure you test it out thoroughly once you fit it to the bike in a variety of situations, so you understand how it works in your locations and on your bike. Interestingly, even if the mobile signal is poor, it still seems to be able to send out a notification at the very least, so that's better than nothing. As to the V85TT, there aren't really any good places to hide it that I've found so far. I've had to leave it under the seat for now. I've still got a couple of ideas to try, but I suspect it's probably going to have to stay where it is. If you do decide to mount it under the seat, again, there's nowhere really good to fit it. It's quite annoying, actually. I had to get creative with zip ties to hold it in place. Again, I've got a few ideas for better ways of fitting it, so if I come up with any clever solutions, I will update in another video. Okay, hope some of that was useful. Any questions or comments, please put them down below. Thanks for watching.